This is the introduction to our research project, focusing on the topic of childcare and working families as pulled from the Council of Contemporary Families. The conductors of this research project are Robin Bannon, Andrew Kellogg, Vanessa Walton, and Haley Small, all students at Framingham State University. We chose to focus on the topic of working families and childcare because of the numerous challenges of striking a balance for working parents between work and being a parent to their children. We also did not know the benefits or drawbacks to childcare for the child, as well as how different institutions of childcare function, as well as many other motivations for selecting this research topic. With this project, the relationship between working parents and childcare will be examined, specifically through the analysis of the type of childcare being used, when and how often it is used, the child's attitudes and behaviors, economic expense, benefits and drawbacks of the childcare, and public policy influencing the childcare.
We intend to find the factors that affect the childcare choices that working parents make and the resulting perceived quality of these choices. To find this, we set out to answer our research question: why do working parents in Massachusetts use childcare, and how do their reasons affect the type of childcare they use? In order to answer this question more in depth, we will also answer a set of sub-questions directly relating to our research topic of childcare and working families. We want to know: how does occupation influence childcare? How does formal or informal childcare compare? Or do family members take care of the child, or is the child enrolled in a childcare center while both the parents are working? What are some of the benefits or drawbacks of the childcare that each family uses? And how do policies, either at work, at home, or from the government, affect childcare decisions?
Concerning the literature review, much of it is focused on the American context of childcare. With Bianchi's research aimed at exploring changing family dynamics, the post-1960s American family structure is examined. Divorce rates have risen, women are having children later, and more children are being born out of cohabitation. Bianchi denotes this to the Cultural Revolution of the 1960s in the United States, which led to differing family planning tactics common to much of the rest of the world, going through similar changes at the time. What differed was the government's response to these new families, with other countries coming through with assistance to these new family structures with different needs from the nuclear families of the past, while the United States continued to keep hands off. Instead, policy was, quote, encouraging healthy families, end quote, a practice left open to interpretation. As also seen in the mid-2000s, even the healthiest and strongest of families can be shaken, as seen by the hit middle-class families took during the 2008 economic recession. Moss's research on families working non-standard hours took a look at New Zealand and this country's approach to childcare under specific circumstances of parents of children working outside the typical hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. from Monday to Friday. This would include weekend work and night shifts. It was found that similarly to the United States, parents who worked within this pattern were required to plan their childcare more than a parent working standard hours, as well as needing to utilize a variety of childcare methods in order to effectively meet the needs of both child and parent.
Another topic we came across in our literature review was the functions of childcare. In their research, Small looks at the resources that childcare helps low-income children interact with in the article entitled Neighborhood Institutions as Resource Brokers, Childcare Centers, Interorganizational Ties, and Resources Among Poor. They found that childcare is more than just a place to send children while parents are busy. Childcare programs help to connect children to other important resources. This is especially important for low-income children because often it's the only way that they can reach these resources. In the articles, Parents' long working hours on an impact of family life. Fersman looks at how the length parents work often affects childcare usage, which in turn affects family dynamics. Parents that use extended hours of childcare report that they feel distance from their children and miss out on important family bonding time. They also report that even when they are home, they are often too tired to take advantage of the time they have.
For families with children with disabilities, finding affordable childcare that meets the special needs of their child is a problem, and this problem becomes even more strenuous when the parents work full-time. The study, it's afforded us a huge flexibility, the impact of disabled children's access to childcare pilots on families with a disabled child in England, is qualitative interviews of parents whose children are enrolled in the Disabled Children's Access to Childcare Pilots in England. The study found that access to the right childcare had a positive impact on the parents' ability to work. Some of the themes in the study are the benefits of parents' access to affordable childcare, the reasons parents seek childcare, and the impact childcare has on the parents' ability to work. The study, Dual Earners Parents Work Family Time, the effects of an atypical work patterns on non-parental childcare, explored the strategies that parents use to manage their time when balancing work and childcare. By examining data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the study found that adjusting your work schedule allowed parents to spend more time with their family, while those who could not adjust their schedule used childcare. Some of the themes of the study are the time constraints when it comes to childcare for working parents and how work schedule and occupation affect their childcare choices.
To extend the topic of childcare, we explored behavioral outcomes. The study used child's fixed effects models to examine associations between changes in the number of concurrent non-parental childcare arrangements and changes in mother and caregiver. Children in two childcare arrangements exhibited more mother-reported disruptive behavior and marginally caregiver reported internalizing problems than those in single arrangements. Associations between reports of hours in childcare and children's externalizing problems at 18 and 36 months were examined. Little evidence that high quantity of childcare causes problems externally for children. When sibling and individual fixed effects model for handling selection bias were used, no relation between hours and problems were evident.
We will be conducting 8 interviews total. Each of us will be conducting 2 interviews. We are selecting our interview subjects based on the requirement that they have interacted with an institution of childcare, either as a working parent or as a childcare provider. Each researcher will interview 1 parent and 1 childcare provider, so the sample will be split evenly between parents and childcare providers. To start off each of the interviews, both with working parents and with childcare providers, we plan to ask several demographic questions. These include race, age, marital status, household status, and gender or sex. We also plan to ask about the subject's occupation and the occupation of their partner if they have one.
The questions that were asked of parents include, what proportion of your monthly income would you say you spend on childcare? The next question was, what is your relationship with your child like? And does childcare affect this? The last question for parents were, in a perfect world, what would be your ideal childcare situation? The questions that were asked of childcare providers include, do the children interact well with each other? How does the program encourage child socialization? Lastly, what are the child care center's behavior management policies?